Welcome to the EOB Podcast, where we talk about the weekend box office and the new openings this week. I'm Benno, and joining me is Sen Duong. So Sen, let's say today is a Tuesday. I got something to do on Monday, so we're doing this podcast on a Tuesday. So welcome back to another podcast.
All
right. So last weekend we have 3 new releases in theaters. We have the Kingsman sequel, The Golden Circle, the another Lego movie, the Lego Ninjago movie, and a teen horror flick called Friend Request.
Mm-hmm.
And last weekend I said that we're in the season where primarily me, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore because like these movies are not the typical blockbusters.
So right. Same here with me.
Yeah, our projections could be off by a bit. But you were pretty close on some of the movies.
Like probably one movie.
Right. So how about we jump right in? With the number 1 movie of the weekend, and it's Kingsman: The Golden Circle. It pulled in about 39 million over the weekend. That's what it opened to, and this is a movie that I was wrong on.
Yeah, it opened about probably about 10% higher than the previous one. I think the previous one opened to like 35 or
36 million. So yeah, about there. Yeah, and this one opened a couple millions higher.
Yeah, you were saying like sequel fatigue and all that stuff, and I was saying that does apply, but it applies more on the like 3rd, 4th, and 5th and beyond type of films.
Right, if they're lucky, if the sequel is lucky.
Yeah, if the sequel is lucky, yeah. But this one is is the second sequel, and second sequels tend to do better if the first film was well received, and this one was the first Kingsman was well received. It was a surprise hit, so there is some kind of general goodwill going for it.
Yeah, it is a very British action, pretty much superhero movie, really, right?
Yeah.
And the first movie opened to like as we said, 36 million. It went on to make 128 million domestic, 414 million worldwide, and they're making a sequel, and they did, The Golden Circle, and but it only opened to about 39 million, so it's just about what the first movie opened to. So you could say that it didn't really expand beyond the base of the first movie?
Beyond the fans of the first film.
Mm-hmm.
And reviews wise, it didn't it wasn't as nearly well received as the first film. Critics were mixed on this one. I think the tomato meter is about 50% or a little bit higher, 53%, somewhere around there. Let me see, 49%. So critics were mixed on this one. I think the first one was in the 75 to 80% range on Rotten Tomatoes. But the only problem with sequels is they tend to be front-loaded. So this one, although it opened a little bit higher than the first film, when it's all said and done, it might not do as well domestically.
Yeah, the reviews for the sequel is not that great. I mean, roughly 50%, on tomato meter. Audience score, like the cinema score, is a B+, which is
average,
okay movie. So you could say the enthusiasm is not there. I mean, when you say that you normally when the sequel of a well-received movie normally get a bigger bump than, as you say, probably 10 or so percent. So it didn't really get that much, and I said, in the last podcast that this movie kind of like has a lot of stereotypes going on, and it might not appeal to that many people.
I don't think that has anything to do with it because the first one did pretty well, and this one has even more, and this one has even more American elements. I mean, it might have something to do with other films, but this one obviously people don't care about the Britishness. Because it did pretty well.
I will have to trust you on that since I was wrong on the projections.
Well, I think that would be the right sentiment if the first film didn't do well. But the first film did pretty well, so I don't think that has anything to do with it.
Okay. So I said it would open to 25 million, and you say 35, and you were closer to the actual number than I was. So yeah.
Still, I'm not. I think it's gonna. When it's all said and done, it's not going to make as much as the first film domestically, but I think it's going to make up for it overseas. And speaking of overseas, let's see how much it did overseas. It did 59 million overseas.
Yes.
Speaking of which, yeah.
Yeah, the budget is a bit higher than the first movie, 104 million. But as you said, it would probably bring in a lot of money overseas. So the budget is not that big of a deal.
And for a big action movie like this, 104 million is kind of on the okay range, because these action movies, superhero type movies, tend to be budgeted at 200 million plus.
Yeah, I think most of the money goes to the talent like Channing Tatum, Halle Berry.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of them in this.
Yeah. They want to. Again, one of these movies where they stuff the movie with well-known actors.
Yeah. But none of them are the type of stars who can demand a 20 million payday. So they probably spread it around. I think everyone probably got a couple million here and there. And although it does take a decent chunk of the budget, I don't think it's the majority of it. It's not like they have Tom Cruise or Will Smith or someone who demands like a 20 to 30 million paycheck, or like Robert Downey Jr.
Right, sure. I mean, even though it's not concentrated on just one actor, you spread them out, and with enough of those, you'll just equal about the same.
Yeah, I mean, you add them all up, and you probably equal one big name star. And the thing with this one is because the first film was a surprise hit, I'm sure Taron Egerton probably signed a similar deal to Gal Gadot in Wonder Woman. He probably only get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for the first film, and he probably got a bonus for the second one, but I don't think it's a lot of money. He probably signed like a 3-picture deal for 100,000 each, or something low like that.
Yeah. I mean, he's a relatively unknown, and when you're unknown, I'm not saying you get taken advantage of, but you're not getting paid the big bucks. And when you sign on to a movie, they sign you also on to sequels, and to roughly probably the same amount.
Right.
So even though the movie is very successful, he's not seeing a lot of it, except maybe for the bonuses, the studio heads just want to sit out.
Yeah. So he probably got a big bonus from the first film, because they're not the Weinstein brothers. So they.
Okay.
I mean, like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck was like, man, after Good Will Hunting made over 100 million, and the Weinstein brothers came to them and go, hey man, here's your big bonus. It's like $500,000 or something like that, and they're like, what?
It's all good in the long run.
In the end, it's all good. It's all good, but they could have done better.
Yeah, they could have done better.
It's not like that movie was a. It was not like that movie was a very expensive film to make.
Right. But they leveraged that connection and whatever to do bigger and better stuff, and they did all right for themselves.
Yeah, it's all good.
All right.
But anyway.
So, yes. So Kingsman, The Golden Circle, not as. I guess we were both not that high on the movie as our projections.
I was kind of in there, like not super high, but kind of there.
Right. Not super high, but normally you would see like I say, a bigger bump if it's a something that we feel good about, right?
Yeah.
But you had it around what the first movie made, so you weren't that high on it as well.
Yeah, not high, but kind of there.
Okay,
solid.
All right.
Kind of solid.
So yeah, it's a movie that you were right on, and I was pretty off. So that's Kingsman. I'm sure that we will see another movie, and hey, we might finally see what we talked about, where the sequelitis comes into effect. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, it kind of came into the effect on this. It only made a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Guardians of the Galaxy where it did a lot better than the first film.
Right.
Yeah,
but I'm still impressed that Kingsman is a kind of like relatively unknown here. The properties to do it so well. It's surprising.
Yeah.
All right. How about we move on to number 2? It, the horror movie It, based on the Stephen King novel, the first of a 2-parter, still, I believe. It pulled in about 30 million over the weekend, drop off is 50% from the previous weekend. Still doing pretty well. I mean, domestic take right now is 266 million, and the worldwide take is 478.
Mm-hmm. And it's already the highest grossing horror film of all time, right? Or is it the highest grossing R-rated horror film of all time?
Yes. Of course, the budget is only 35 million, so that's the amazing thing about it. So that means Warner Brother is rolling in a lot of dough for this one.
Yeah. Yep. Unfortunately, well, I guess the success of it will make up for the disappointing haul for the next film on our list.
Okay, take us in.
WB movie.
Mm-hmm.
The Lego Ninjago movie pulled in 20.4 million over the weekend. I'm not sure what the budget for the film is, but I would think it's around 70 to 80 million like the other Lego films, if not a little bit less. What kind of figures were we throwing at this?
Oh, we were thinking that this would be big. So I was saying 45 million, you say 40 to 45. Thinking that, hey, the Lego brand is consistent.
The Lego brand, would be strong. But apparently, the Lego Ninjago movie, it is Lego's original property. It's not like Batman or Superman and all those other characters in the first Lego movie. Mm-hmm. This one is something that's completely created by them. And, I was thinking, it would have a bigger following, but I guess not. It only pulled in 20.4 million. Kind of disappointing. I think people in general were expecting more, right?
I believe so, mainly based on just the Lego brand, right? Since the other Lego movies did so well. But we said in the previous podcast, we don't know how big of a awareness that this Ninjago brand is.
Yeah.
Right. They did well with branded Lego movies like Batman and the Lego movie, but this one is Lego's own brand with ninjas. Right. And it could be one of these things where the Eastern elements, maybe, I don't know.
It could be, or it could just be that it's their own brand, and like you said, we're not sure how big it is. It's popular on TV, on cable, with little kids, but we're not sure how much
watch
that
anything.
bleeds
But they
out
watch
into,
anything, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but we're not sure how much that bleeds out into the mainstream. And the toys are
now we know, right?
Still,
now we know. Yeah, it's not that big.
Yeah, it's okay. 20.4 million isn't nothing. It's
no, it's actually.
What...
I think it's actually pretty good if the budget is around 70, 80 million. It's actually a pretty decent opening.
Yeah, and family films tend to hold up better. So if the budget is around 60 million, then they're gonna make a profit on this. And because of Jackie Chan and some of the Eastern elements, it might possibly do decent in China. We don't know. We'll have to see.
Right, but I think the concerning thing is have we seen like peak Lego movie? And this is pretty much we're seeing a downward slide.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see how much the sequel to the original Lego movie will do, because that was very well reviewed, has a lot of goodwill going for it. If we see a slide in that one, then we'll see that, hey, this Lego cinematic universe might not expand too far out.
Right, because I think there might be like too many Lego movies out, and people might be tired, or kids might be tired of the style, perhaps.
Well, I think the main thing is the Lego Ninjago movie. One thing that's negative about it is the previous two, the Lego movie and the Lego Batman movie were very well reviewed. This one wasn't that well reviewed, 51% on Rotten Tomatoes. I saw it and I know why. This one is definitely not as energetic as the previous. I haven't seen the Lego Batman movie, but compared to the first Lego movie, this one, the first third of the film captures that energy and the witty dialogue. But as soon as they went into the father and son journey, it got in the words of one kid in the audience, it got boring.
All right. So not enough roller coasters.
Yeah, I guess the thing going for this, they have a cute little kitten as a bad guy, so there's not much at stake. I think that's the main thing. There much at stake with this movie. I wish the first third of the film was the entire movie. If they took that and stretched it out and filled that part in, would have been another great Lego movie. But they went into the father and son story. Although I chuckled throughout, it wasn't. There was some chuckles and it's pretty well written, but I felt like that journey was kind of not. There's not much substance in it, and not much happened. And like one of the kids said, is kind of that part was kind of boring, and the finale was kind of anticlimactic, especially after seeing what was in the first third of the film. So I think a lot of it has to do. Probably some of it has to do with the brand. The Ninjago might not be as mainstream as we thought it is, and the other part has to do with the movie. It wasn't as energetic or wasn't as entertaining as the previous two films.
Okay. So you're saying it's pretty much just the story itself and not really the Lego brand that's having a falling out.
It's probably a combination of both.
Okay. All right. So we will keep an eye on the next Lego movie to see if we're seeing a decline of these Lego movies, and it's not just this brand that doesn't have that wide of an appeal as we thought.
Right.
All right. Okay. Let's move on to number 4, American Assassin. Pulled in about 6.3 million over the weekend. Drop off is about 58% from the previous week. And the domestic gross is 26 million so far, and internationally, I don't think it opened that wide yet. It only pulled in about 12 million overseas.
Yeah, so it's doing okay, not great, just okay. Obviously, the huge drop off is because of direct competition from Kingsman.
Yeah, maybe. Or it just could be one of these movies that had a decent opening, like it opened to about 14.89 million, and then just huge drop off from there. And because the biggest star is Michael Keaton, who's in the background, and the guy in the front, the star is Dylan O'Brien, going up against Taylor Kitsch, and those two big box office behemoth going mano a mano, are really must see stuff, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. So yeah, just one of these movies, American Assassins, that just open at this time slot by Lionsgate.
Yeah, just kind of there. It's doing Lionsgate numbers.
But as you said, if it make decent money, we will see a sequel, right?
Yeah, because they're great at selling these films abroad.
Right.
They'll probably do a trilogy out of this. I mean, they have films that made less that saw trilogies.
Right. Okay, that's Lionsgate for you, the makers of sequels.
Yeah.
Okay. And number 5 is Mother. This movie by Darren Aronofsky, directed by, starring Jennifer Lawrence, Javier Bardem, Ed Harris, Michelle Pfeiffer, and others. And this movie didn't do as well as we thought because of this pedigree. I pulled in about 3.3 million in the second weekend. And I read some people's analysis of the movie, and I thought, this movie is too out there for, I guess, horror movies fans.
Yeah, right. Although the trailer made it look like it's your typical horror film, but I guess it's stranger than that.
Yes, I can see why it failed with people.
Right. It is failing despite all these headlines in the past week about. It received a lot of headlines in the entertainment space of how it got an F grade and how it's too out there, and I think the marketing department was trying to turn all that negative buzz attention into positive box office mojo, but it turned out it can't do anything about it.
Right. It's like, okay, it's a train wreck. Why not tell people about this train wreck so they can watch this train wreck?
Yeah.
Kind of deal. But like I say, I read what people wrote about this movie, and it's kind of similar to David Lynch's Mulholland Drive, right? It's one of these movies that's like people don't know what they're watching.
Yeah, got a little weird and out there. More of an indie film being pushed to the mainstream audience.
Right. It requires a lot of mental gymnastics to make sense of it all. That why I guess people are turning away from this movie.
Yeah, reviews are decent, 68% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's just that it's just one of those films. Hey, it's different, it's unique, but it's just too out there for the mainstream audience.
Right. And they don't, when people come out with the movie and they don't know what they saw, I can see the F.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next one. At number 6, Home Again. Did 3.2 million over the weekend. It's already done 22 million at a budget of 12 million. It's one of these. Is it a platform release?
Home Again? No, it's not a platform release.
It's the
Reese Witherspoon rom-com.
Yeah, rom-com. It didn't open to the kind of numbers that she used to get with, in her heyday with romantic comedies. But when you look at the budget, it's only 12 million, and it's already made twice that. So, it's kind of doing okay.
It is, but it's not a one of these typical rom-coms.
Yeah, it's not gonna get Reese Witherspoon her $20 million payday again. But I don't think she's demanding that kind of payday anymore.
Yeah, I don't think she ever reached 20 million.
She got close because of the Legally Blonde films and a couple other ones that did 100 million. She probably got near there or around there or close to it.
Right. Like I said, this is a different rom-com movie. It's for more mature, older group. So you're not going to see these young young couples who are dating go and watch Home Again.
And despite being so poorly reviewed, 33% on Rotten Tomatoes, it's actually doing decent.
It's doing okay.
Yeah, okay. If you look at the budget, it's doing okay for its budget.
Right. So that's what I'm saying, and it's because Reese Witherspoon is here. She headlines the movie, and now she's she has this TV show going on, right? I believe. So I guess that she's still relevant there. But in movies, I don't think she can open movies.
Yeah, she's not
that high
at
anymore.
The Sweet Home Alabama or Legally Blonde days anymore, or Walk the Line.
All right. Let's move on to number 7. This friend request. One of the new releases over the weekend. It's a horror movie. Open to 2 million.
Yeah. What kind of numbers were we putting in that?
So I thought because of the subject matter, stupid teen movie, I thought it could, have some horror fans out there, will watch anything. I said it could open to 7 million, and you said 4.
So we were both pretty low on it.
Yeah, but not low enough.
Yeah. So nobody cared because anyone who wants to watch a horror film still going to it. Yeah, it's just a trailer that looks like it's been done before, and it looks so generic.
Yeah, even the premise sounds kind of stupid, right? It's like,
Yeah.
Ghost resides in social media. You friend that person and you can't unfriend them, and they can end up killing you. Sounds stupid.
Yeah, I'm surprised they poured in almost 10 million in this.
Which is cheap.
It's cheap, but in this Jason Blum days, you would think that they would have done it for 100 grand.
Right, but those people are not Jason Blum.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so I guess it'll probably fall out of theaters next week. The top 10 next weekend.
Yeah.
Meaning, we move on to number 8, a movie called Stronger, stars Jake Gyllenhaal, directed by David Gordon Green. So has good director, actor, but it did not open to Jake Gyllenhaal numbers because it's kind of limited.
It's
about 573 theaters.
Yeah, so not a wide release, not his one of his mainstream releases, but reviews are really good though. 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. With 100 reviews. So
yeah, he plays a some guy who's coming back from injury. I guess his leg got injured or cut off.
Oh, okay.
And he's coming back from that. So
right.
Stronger.
Right. Really well reviewed film. Probably shooting towards the award season. The per screen average is 3,000. It's kind of on the low end, so I'm not sure if it can hold up.
We will see, but never bet against Jake Gyllenhaal, right? He always reaches target number of 40 million when it's said and done.
Yeah, we'll see.
But this one might not have the awareness.
Yeah.
or interest level.
Yeah, the reviews are really good though. I'm surprised they didn't go smaller and let it expand slowly.
Yeah, it could be one of these movies where they're just getting some buzz here, and then when
Yeah.
award season comes around, they're gonna re-release it maybe, and he'll reach his number.
Maybe.
Okay, all right. We'll keep an eye on Stronger.
Yeah.
Like I say, Jake Gyllenhaal, he's the guy. You think like this movie might not be that interesting or might not make as much, but hey, it's always around there.
Yeah.
Okay, number 9, moving along, is The Hitman's Bodyguard. It pulled in about 1.6 million over the weekend. Domestic gross is 73 million, and the worldwide take so far is 144. On a budget of 30 million, so it's doing pretty well for itself.
Yeah. And because, like we said earlier, because of its Lionsgate, we're getting a trilogy out of this.
Okay, let's round out the top 10 with Wind River. It pulled in about 1.3 million over the weekend. Domestic gross is 31 million, and let's see, worldwide is hasn't opened worldwide yet, so still at 31 million.
A solid hit for Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen. It's budgeted at only 11 million, and it's already made nearly 3 times that. It's gonna make a decent profit for the Weinstein brothers.
Yes.
And he'll probably only give them $500,000 bonus.
Sure.
If not less, maybe a couple hundred, since this one didn't make 100 million.
Right. That's true. So there you go. Wind River, Weinstein, by the Weinstein Company, and small bonuses. All right. So that's it for the top 10. How about we move on to the new releases? We have about 3, but one is expanding, which makes it 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have American Made, starring Tom Cruise, based on a true story. We have Flatliners, which is supposedly one of these sequels / reboots. And the thriller, Till Death Do Us Part. And expanding is Battle of the Sexes with Emma Stone and Steve Carell.
How did Battle of the Sexes do on limited release?
Yeah, Battle of the Sexes pulled in about 515 million so far.
515,000, right?
Oh yeah, 1,000. Okay, wow.
Yeah. What's the per screen average?
Per screen average is about 24K, which is pretty good.
Okay, not bad. Yeah, pretty good.
How about we talk about American Made, which is pretty much the bigger movie of the new releases, starring Tom Cruise, supposedly based on a true story. He plays a pilot who is pulled into, I guess, international intrigue by the DEA, Department of Drug Enforcement or something, the CIA. He kind of works for, the drug cartel in South America, I guess. And he kind of smuggle drugs for these different groups.
Right. The reviews are very good so far, though. There are 61 reviews so far, and it's at 89%.
Yes, and it's directed by Doug Liman, I have to say.
Oh yeah! Wow. Yeah. So Doug Liman directed Swingers and the first Jason Bourne movie.
Sure.
And
Yes.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So
yes, and
he's a hitmaker.
Right, and Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise, right? Again.
Yeah. Yeah. Not only does he make hits, he makes very good, what we call it, good movies.
And this is Tom Cruise in his acting mode, not playing Tom
Yeah.
Cruise.
Well, in his acting charming mode, and so far it's getting great reviews. But I'm not sure how mainstream or how big of an appeal this kind of movie can get.
Well, that's why you have Tom Cruise to sell it.
Right. Even though there's sex, drugs, and lies in the film.
Right. So it seems kind of similar to another movie that opened recently, a smaller movie.
Oh.
About the rise and fall of. But that one is about gold, right? That gold mine with who's that guy?
Oh yeah. Wait, it wasn't Michael Keaton, right?
No, not Michael Keaton, but the guy who was in let's see that guy's name escapes me.
Yeah, I don't know what movie.
About going South America, gold, have money, and then they
Matthew McConaughey.
Was it Matthew McConaughey? And there's another guy too, right?
Yeah, Google it.
Let me see. Yeah, gold. Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
The movie's called Gold.
So, so simple. Gold. Matthew McConaughey.
Yes.
Yeah. But this one seems much more fun and more entertaining.
Yeah, sure, because it has a bigger budget, right?
Yeah, right.
So one of these movies we've seen before, right? This regular guy who got enlisted by all these government agencies, and he's playing all the sides, the good guys and the bad guys. The good guys might not be the good guys, etc. And he has a lot of money, and of course, and he's pulled into this world of, like you say, sex, drugs, and lies.
Yeah. Yep. And lots of money.
Right, lots of money. You're right. Yep. But with Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise been on a roll lately, though.
And apparently it opened overseas already.
Oh, really? How did it do?
Yeah, so far it made 58 million overseas.
Whoa! Wow. I wonder why they decided to. Well, I guess Tom Cruise has he's a big international draw, and maybe they want to prop this up with the huge, international grosses.
Oh, right. Or it could be that, they want to get the overseas market first before the reviews comes out here.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Oh, wow, it's doing pretty good overseas. Well, can they replicate that here, though? That's the thing. It's not your typical Tom Cruise movie. The reviews are great. The trailer looks fun, but, not... it's one of these original properties. It's not a sequel to one of his big properties.
Right. When we think of Tom Cruise, we think action thrillers, right? The Mission Impossibles, the what's that? The recent one,
The Mummy.
Richard.
Oh, yeah, Richard. John Richard, yeah.
John Richard, and of course they
are. And the Mummy,
recent
which
one's
is
the
kind
Mummy,
of weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned Mission Impossible, John Richard, and the Mummy. One movie is out of place.
Is it Jack Richard or John Richard? Jack, right?
Jack.
Okay,
Richard.
Okay, right. But American Made is kind of like vintage Tom Cruise, where he starred in these movies.
Sure.
Right. This is him looking at his shelf and saying, "Hey, I haven't received a trophy in a while," and he's out to get one.
Oh, okay. Right,
type of movie.
Sure.
Okay.
And so far, it's working 89% on RT. So what kind of figure are you throwing at this?
Oh, I think maybe 35 to 40 million. I
think
just by his.
You're thinking is that high?
I think so.
I don't know. Even Jack Richard, I think it nearly that high.
Yeah, but that's an action movie, maybe. But maybe people or the general audience might want to watch this one.
I'm thinking more like in the 15 million range.
You could be right because, like I say, we're in this season. My estimates are pretty off in the fall. Because of these releases. So, okay, 35 to 40 million for me, 15 for you.
Yeah, right.
Mainly because you think this doesn't have that wide of an appeal. Or not.
Yeah, it could open 15 and maybe have legs.
Okay, all right. But, there's Tom Cruise in award season mode, and, and American Made is this movie.
All
right. Hey, how about we move on to Flatliners?
Yeah.
It's a sequel / reboot of the 1990 sci-fi horror movie.
Yeah. Julia Roberts and
Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland, right.
Who returns in this movie.
Yeah. Although, like someone on Twitter said, I didn't even know they were remaking this. So what are you thinking? I have very low expectations.
Okay.
There are no reviews yet, which is a troubling sign.
Let's talk a bit about the movie first. Okay, Flatliners. It's about some medical students or medical people who kind of flatlines, kind of stop their hearts to experience what death is like. And they find out that...
So they're doing this willingly.
Yes.
It didn't happen by accident.
Right. And they find out there's something on the other side.
Right. No one was asking for a reboot. I didn't know they were doing a reboot. I'm going 5 million or less.
5 million?
Or less.
Okay. Again, you could be right, but I'm going a bit higher. I think I'll go with 15 million.
All right. let's move on to Till Death Do Us Part.
Okay, so Till Death Do Us Part is one of those thrillers targeted toward the African American audience, right?
Yeah.
It's about a woman who's being stalked by her ex.
Yeah, and these movies have been doing pretty well at the box office in the last couple of years.
Yes, every year there's one of these movies.
Yeah, and they always involve, very good-looking people doing stuff good-looking people like to do, or
Sure.
what audiences want to see them do.
Yes.
And there's a thriller element, and one of them stalks the other or tries to hunt the other down. That type of deal, and we've seen it decline slightly.
Yes, and there's always this love triangle, right?
Those films have opened surprisingly well to 25 million, 18 million, and I think the last one didn't. We're seeing a slight dip, and I'm thinking it's gonna happen to this one too, because you can only see the same movie so many times with the same type of people, with similar stars.
Okay, so what do you think? How low will this drop?
How much did the last one do? Like 15 million or something?
Which one are you talking about? There's so many.
Yeah, I don't even remember the title.
Last year there was When the Bow Breaks. It opened to about 14 million.
Right, yeah. I'm thinking this one will be in the 8 to 10 range. It's gonna continue to drop because they're pretty much all the same movies.
Yes, but remember when I said, when the bow breaks, that it doesn't work that well is because it's like two women, right?
Mm-hmm.
Typically the format that did succeed is about with two guys.
Okay, so you got your two guys here. So let's see if your theory works.
Okay, so it has two good-looking dudes here. So I'm gonna go with the typical, what these movies typically do. I say 20 to 25 million.
20 to 25. Well,
yes.
Well, tape decks have been doing really well, and not only these kind of movies, but also the holiday movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so similar group, but I feel like they've been watching this same movie for 3 times already.
For forever. It's like there's one of these movies, these erotic thrillers coming out every year. Same plot lines, pretty much.
Yeah, for the last 3 to 5 years. So.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going 10. You're going 20 to 25.
Yes, I'm going with typical, these erotic thrillers movies openings.
All right, we're gonna test out your theory.
Yeah, I'm gonna prove that theories with these erotic thrillers, you need two guys, two beefcakes.
Yeah, and one half woman.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Okay.
We have another one, right?
Right, expanding. Battle of the Sexes. Okay, let's make this quick. Battle of the Sexes is expanding. Expansion, like we said, it opened to. It did about 515K.
In how many theaters? 21 screens.
Okay, 21
theaters.
screens. Okay, right.
Yeah, so a very good solid opening. In just 21 screens. It's expanding to what? How many theaters? 1,000?
1,200.
Oh, okay. What are you thinking? Has great reviews.
Yeah, but it's still one of these indie movies, as one of these vintage movies, retro kind of deal, and subject matter is not that exciting.
Yeah, 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. Steve Carell he's been pretty solid in these kind of movies lately.
Yeah, he's a comedian, but he's acting pretty well.
He's also a pretty good actor. Yeah,
yes,
also a really good actor too. And this one, there is a timeliness to it because of that whole Serena Williams deal versus who's the other great tennis player, male tennis player who just wrote a book, said that if she were in the men's field, she would rank like 500 or something.
Sure.
There was a whole controversy. So this one, there is a little, a slight timeliness to it, because essentially this is what happened how many years ago in the 70s. Similar deal, top female tennis player.
Yeah, Billie Jean King. Yeah.
And an older, kind of out of his prime, retired male tennis player.
Right, a guy in his 50s.
Yeah, saying that hey, I could beat her.
Right, right. And this is all for show, by the way, right? You know, you
Yeah.
don't really believe that. This is all a show. It's kind of like Mayweather and Connor, the fight.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
them talking trash to each other, but, you know, it's all a ruse to get people to pony up for the pay-per-view.
Right. And you know, this like you said, this is one of those probably targeted towards the academy, and it's doing, you know, in limited release, it did pretty well. So I'm thinking, but you know, 1,000 theaters is not super wide. So I'm thinking maybe 8 million.
8 million? Okay,
8 to
I'm going
10.
lower. 3 to
Yeah.
5.
3 to 5. I'm going
Three.
8.
Okay.
8
all
to
right.
10.
8 to 10. Okay, because I say, you know, this is not one of these mainstream movies. One of these,
Yeah.
and the subject matter does not appeal to that many people, I feel.
But Steve Carell, he's been doing pretty. He's consistent in these kind of movies that don't seem to have huge appeal. And of course, Emma Stone, she's got her fan base.
Right, but she hasn't been in anything that draw huge numbers lately, Emma Stone, except La La Land.
All right, that's it for this week.
Okay, so will you tune in next week to see how we did? I expect I would be wrong on a lot of these movies. My projections will, would be way off, I think.
I'm most curious to see if your theory holds up. You know, with Til Death Do Us part.
And we'll see if that works.
All right.
Okay.
All right. We'll see if his Ben's theory holds up next week.
And I suspect it will. Okay, tune in next week.